Hi everyone, welcome back to this simple floral page from Small Victories by Johanna Basford. I've been really enjoying doing these lovely floral designs in just with their simple stems. I think it's been a rather nice page, rather like the hand-tied bouquets. I've just been having a lot of fun doing something quite straightforward. So I am using my Chromaflow pencils again today, same as I have been using for the whole page, and I have, as I've said before, I've only got a small selection of colours, but we'll have a go and see what we can do. I am actually going to start over here with these. Now I think these look rather like leaf groups rather than flowers, and I quite fancy doing them in a sort of brownish tone. So I think I'm going to start actually with the Raisin and just do a little bit of darkish colour down in the base here, down here, look, just at the very bottom of the leaves. Just little bits, just to sort of darken that area, and then we can use a slightly lighter colour for the next step, trying to make it a little bit darker down, right down in the base, and then a little bit lighter at the base, as we go up. Oops, my pencil wants to roll away. Next I'm going to be using the burnt sienna, okay, and just extending those areas. I'm going to go right over what I've done and then fade up a little bit. I do want another colour on the tips, so I'm not going to take this all the way up, but I'm hoping we'll start to see, you know, the colour being pulled up each little leaf. I hope everyone's well today. I have been having a few comments lately. I think it might be because I'm getting a few new subscribers on YouTube. People talking about how the my pictures get blurred when my hand comes into shot. I am very aware that this happens. It is something I am trying to sort out. This is Golden Sun. It is really difficult for me because I'm not at all technical. I don't really know how to use my camera apart from having it in auto mode. So it's in auto mode, and that means that it just focuses on the thing that is in the centre of the picture, I think. So what I try and do is keep my hand to the side or the edge as much as I can. But when I'm zoomed in really close, it will blur. Okay, I realise an easy solution would be to have it further away, but that means that you wouldn't be able to see all the little details, which I think is something that some people have said that they really enjoy, being able to see close up. So it's hard for me to get, I can't do it right for everybody, so I sort of made the decision to just stick with what I'm doing. Now I have looked at my camera settings and I've tried to read the manual. Now the manual is written with lots of camera terminology in it, sort of assuming that you know how to use a camera already, which I don't. You know, so it talks about exposure and things, those sorts of camera words, which, yeah, I know what exposure means, but some of them I just don't, and so I get a bit muddled. I've also, the only way I found of sort of changing it from an autofocus to a normal focus was actually in the still photograph mode rather than in the video mode. So I don't even know. I'm just going to use a bit of this amber gold to finish it off. I don't even know whether there is a mode where I can change this. But if anyone has got this camera and can help me, that would be fantastic. It is a vlogging camera made by it's called the SV1. It's a Canon camera, and it's designed for vlogging. And I've been, you know, I have looked at the manual online and things like that, but as I say, I get really easily confused. I'm just not technically minded in that sense. I don't find it fun either, learning new things with regards to new software or hardware. I just find it quite dull. But I have tried, and I just haven't succeeded in finding something a solution. Okay, my next pencil is a strawberry. Well, the pencil isn't a strawberry. And I'm going to be doing this damselfly or dragonfly with this. And my thought is that it's one of those red ones. I don't know if you've ever seen a red dragonfly, but we get them along our... What's the train? There is a train running then. Trains are being affected today. Along our canal. And they have very dark red bodies, and then the wings are actually pretty see-through with a few red sort of veins on. But I'm just going to do a sort of vague light reddish wing like that. Now sometimes when I do larger dragonflies or butterfly, particularly dragonflies, they're overlapping a flower like this. I might try and make it look like the wing is see-through, so sort of colour the flower behind it and sort of draw in the petal. But because this one's so small, I'm not going to attempt to do that. But what you would do is you would look at this petal here, work out where it's going. It's sort of going to go around there, isn't it? Draw in that, and then when you colour in your petal, or draw it in with the petal colour, when you do that bit, just do it a little bit lighter than the rest of the petal, so it looks like you're looking through something. And then what I tend to do is go over all of the wings with a white pencil, a good white pencil. I don't know what this Derwent one is like, but you know, a Prisma white or something like that, a decent one, and go over it so it looks much more see-through. I've just noticed that I've coloured this a bit dark compared to this. I'm just going to darken this up a tad. Doesn't need too much. There we go. Now we need to do these flowers. These ones here, I've got one there as well. I'm trying to think of a colour which will go with our red and our sort of yellowy brownish. Now I could go for orange, but then I will really create a theme for this page, you know, with the warm colours, so I have to do my other 3 flowers in a similar colour. So I think if I do something a little bit different, I'm going to go for a purple. Well, I think it's the lilac. I'm going to go for the lilac, then it will bring us, we can do this in a different, maybe a blue or a pink. You know, it won't limit our colour palette. I mean, obviously there's no rules with regards to colour palette. I'm just going to make that dark around there. But I find that once you sort of head towards either warm or cold colours as a majority of your colours, it's a little difficult to switch away from that without it looking a little bit odd. So if I sort of balance it with some warm and some cold, then hopefully it will look okay, you know, without me having to try and just do warm colours. But I'm trying to make it a little darker near the centre of our flower, like that. Yeah, and then all these are going to be done in the same way. I haven't thought about the actual centre yet, but I'll get there. I'll have a think as I'm colouring this bit. We have got a very light yellow that I haven't, the sun yellow. Oh, I have used it once. I could just make it this colour, but I think it's a bit dull. Do it black. I might do them black. I think sometimes a black flower middle can look quite nice, and some flowers do have black middles. Obviously, if there's a colour you prefer, you do what you want to do. Just been out to town. It's sunny. It's supposed to have really strong winds. For an hour, I think about 2ish. It's a bit earlier than that. It's only 1 now. I went out over sort of lunchtime really. surprisingly quiet, but I guess it is quiet on Mondays. I went to the post office, I posted a few letters. We went out to my father-in-law's for lunch yesterday, so I posted out a little thank you card and a couple of other little cards to people, and bought some foreign stamps as well. Weren't foreign stamps, they were stamps that I could use to send letters abroad, let's put it that way. Foreign stamps, we can't buy those. So I'm going to use the black in the centre. Now, quite a nice way to do a flower centre is to do a darker around the edge, like that, and then lighter towards the centre. Now, it's very difficult to see that on something this small, or even to put that effect in, but if you've got a larger flower, it will become easier to do. Oh, it was really cold just before I started doing this, and I did up my cardigan. Guess what? I'm now having a hot flush. Whew. Bear with me a minute, I've just got to unbutton, and I will be thinking about what colour to do those other flowers. I think I might do the leaves on these purple ones first, and that will help me have a bit more thinking time. So, I'm going to be using the basil, and I think this really dark basil actually suits the purple flowers quite well, so I'm just going to use the basil, but I'm going to fade it towards the centre of our leaf, and then so that it's darker on each end and a bit lighter in the middle, and we just get a little bit of a different look to our leaf, which I think keeps it interesting, because all the leaves could end up being quite samey on this page because I've only got the 3 greens. So that's why I'm trying to mix it up a little bit, give you some different ideas too. Might not be ideas that you want to copy, but it's just something to think about, really. I mean, you could use this for a petal. It looks really pretty actually if you do it on a petal, because if you do the centre and the outside dark, it gives the impression that the petal has a curve in it, which can be really pretty. There we go. So I need to do, oh, there's one over the other side as well, isn't there? I was trying to look at the news as well to check what was going on with the trains. Apparently a lorry's hit a bridge, so I assume it's a bridge that trains go on, so that's a bit of a disaster. But it's not on a line anywhere near here, and yet it's affecting the one train that my son gets, and they are deciding not to stop at the station. He's sort of at the end of a line, and so they're not bothering to stop there. They're just turning around at the station before and going back to make up the time. So I don't know whether he's going to be able to get home, so he's thrilled. But I've warned him because it's important for him to be prepared, but he may need a lift home. Luckily his dad's very well close-ish. This is the flame, which is the orange, and I'm going to do it for these, I think. Now, although I was saying it looks quite nice if you do the tip and the end of the petal with a darker colour, I'm not going to try and do that on ones that are this teeny tiny. Those leaves are a little bit bigger than this petal. I can't, just not enough space. So I'm just going to colour it in. I'm trying to make it a bit darker near the centre, but it's a little bit tricky with the orange, and such a small amount of space. So I think one of my boys is getting the train home at 2:15. I think he said. His class finishes at 1:45. It's got a 20-minute walk to the station, so he's hoping to get the 2:15. I think that was his plan. Sometimes they let out a little early, and he walks so fast that he can easily get to the station by then. Right, because I was going to do the centres of these in yellow, but I've gone over all of them in quite a lot of orange. So I'm going to do them brown instead. I think they would look nice in yellow. So if you haven't gone over your centres, you could try, but I'm going to use the natural brown just to fill in those centres. And I'm just filling it in plain. I'm not doing anything fancy. It's too small for me to worry about that. Now I always think an olive green goes really nicely with an orange, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to use the foliage, which is our sort of olivey colour, and just filling in the leaves. They're so little. I'm not going to do anything too difficult, too you know, too tricky, detailed. Just block it in because they're little. There we go. And now I'm going to get my white pen. Which one should I look at? The Jelly Roll 8, and do some dotting. Now, as this is not floral, but it's leaf work, I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to dot around our flower centres on these purple ones. I'm not going to do anything on our dragonfly. There are some black dots on the end of his wings, and I think those are enough. I don't think he needs, and I think he's not dark enough to show it white. If I try to go over those black dots with my white pen, I'm just scribbling it because it doesn't want to write. That's better. If I try, I think it would just erase them. I think they look better being left there. I'm going to also just go around the centre of these as well. And I think it just brightens, lightens, brings attention to the florals, and just pretty, really. Let's just hold that there so you can see. So there is that little selection of flowers done. Got a couple left. I hope you are enjoying this page. If you are, please drop a little like, maybe a comment. It's always handy. Yes, but thank you so much for watching. Hoping that you have a really super day, and happy colouring.